Alright, hi everybody, it's Bonkai922. And I'm getting supports for that Medica Box thing. This one person was stating I should stick to my guns, and go with that. And they also said something about that this probably is the end with Medica Box, with this arc, what's going on with it. But that's not what did, and thank you for the support. Thank you for the support on that. So yeah. We'll see what happens with Medica Box next week. Anyway. Fairy Tale. Okay. 324 chapter. This one was called The One Who Closed the Gates. After much waiting. Oh, hero. You did it! Yay! It's the wrong person you killed, though. Anyone who hasn't read the chapter, please don't read it. Don't watch this review, because I'm going to be spoiling. Okay, want to close the gates. Now, I'm not sure that cover page is fucking gay with Sting. We get Rogue, and he's confronting Matsu and the gang, and they, saying, he's from the future, blah, blah, blah. And then we get the princess. She doesn't really talk much. She says a few things to Arcadius. And the princess is telling Arcadius to place his blade where it needs to be. I'm opening the gates. In order to save this country, I'm drawing my blade. And then we get, Gial wanting to go to the castle and find out what's going on. And they're asking Rogue, why are you here? He's here to open the gates. And there are two ways. This was already explained, I think, in last week's chapter. There are two ways to open the gate. You can open the gate to go in the past or the future, and you open the gate to use the cannon. And that's pretty much what they're going to do. Ooh, shoulder. They're going to open the gate to destroy dragons using the cannon. And, Natsu's like, yeah, you're an ally and stuff, and, if we beat the dragon, we can save the future. Unfortunately, it's not that simple. Future I come from 7 years from now, dragons have already conquered the world. 7 years from now. That number is a big, huge thing in Fairy Tale. 7. Beginning of the show, it was 7 years ago that the dragons disappeared. And 7 years later, and then another 7 years later, it's like a big number. That's 7. I find it very interesting. But, But with this chapter, I might as well tell you, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. I know it's stupid to give this 4 or 5. Yeah, whatever. Anyway. And he says also, there's not even 10% of the human population, not even 10th of the human population survived. And of course, the eclipse doesn't hold any near much power as it does now. And he says, if you don't stop the dragons now, the world is doomed. And that's when he brings up the point. Now, says, they're supposed to open the gates. And he says, but 7 years ago, in other words now, someone stopped us from opening the gate, and that person brought down the destruction of the world. I'm here to eliminate that person. And he states that they say, oh yeah, well we can just talk the person out of it. And he says words alone can't control it. Even if they're convinced now, it's already decided they will close the gates. It's decided. And it says, he's saying it's an unescapable destiny. And he says, it's you, Lucy Hart Philia. And he just points, he creates a shadow thing of a sword and points it right at Lucy. And I'm like, yay! Lucy's gonna die now! Oh! Kind of. So, points at Lucy. Rap's like, Lucy, yeah. And who gets involved? Future Lucy! She gets attacked by Rogue. And yes! Yeah, people would be pissed off. I started celebrating someone dying. But that's pretty much what went down. She got attacked, Future Lucy. I quote Joten. He says, the wrong bitch died, but the same bitch died. You get the gist there. But, so she gets attacked by Rogue and gets stabbed. And this is like the first time since. I mean, there have been other instances where people died in Fairy Tail. Don't get me wrong. You know, Zancro. But as far as good people, the only ones I could think of are Simone and maybe Gemma. But this is the first time, like, alright, yeah, it was a side character, future Lucy. But Lucy did die. But more or less, she gets attacked, stabbed, and she's coughing up blood. And he's like, Lucy, and he's even shocked. He's like, why are there two Lucys? So Rogue jumped the gun here because he didn't realize two things. There was two things about this situation that he was like, oh shit. Number one, there were two Lucys. And number two, which was huge when he found this out, was that the future Lucy, well, not the present Lucy, the one from the future, denies closing the gates and says she did not know that she closed the gates. And he was surprised by that. And she says, I never closed the gates to regular Lucy, and I know you didn't do such a thing. Why did you save me? And she says, because you're my past. Either way, I would have ceased to exist. And that's true. It's true. Laws of time travel dictate that you can't. That's called a paradox. You know, anyone who's seen Back to the Future, you know, with Emmett Brown, Marty McFly, hey, you know, it would have been, you know. No, I'm not doing that. But anyway, that's pretty much the story. And, you know, and she says it's okay, and she says, I'm happy with just that. And you got Happy crying. I'm not going to say what Happy says. It's so stupid. And she says, don't be sad. Show me your guild mark. And she's crying, kind of, your left hand. And she says, I really wanted to go on more adventures. And here's the theory I have about this. She's saying, show me your guild mark. Your left hand. She's showing her right hand. Lucy is showing her right hand to future Lucy. Which tells me that future Lucy lost her right hand. I don't know how, but she lost it. That's logistic. I don't know how, though. That was one thing about future Lucy that I kept thinking about. Like, where's her right hand? It was missing. Least to say, her death is great. So, this, and she says, I really wanted to go more adventures. And she says, protect the future. Now, and everyone's crying, and it's like, come on. Really? We're going to go this route? But least to say, this is something, even though it's small, even though it's the wrong Lucy, this is something to look forward to. It is. I know it looks like, come on, this is bullshit. Yeah, it looks bullshit, but at least someone died. Okay, it wasn't the real Lucy, but it was a Lucy. That's the way I look at it. I'm giving this a 4 out of 5 because that, coupled with the situation that Rogue was saying about the dragons in this chapter, was huge. Was freaking huge. And I was great. It was awesome. And he states here, right here on this page, she wasn't aware that she had closed the gates. Rogue didn't realize that, which is why he jumped the gun here. And Rogue's stating that when the time comes, you will. It's funny, Lucy, in the translation of August Stream, says, coming out with all this bullshit, what's your aim? And then he's saying, as long as you live, you'll close the gates, and so on and so forth. There's no truth in your words. Everything's decided by destiny. And Natsu says, then I'll burn away that destiny. It's Natsu. I won't let anyone take away Lucy's future. Protect the future, I promise. And it says, that is the promise that's to stand up against despair. Anger succeeded only by rage, a silver of light that runs down his cheeks. To be continued in chapter 325, Unity. But this was good for several reasons. Obviously, Natsu was like, he was pissed that future Lucy died, and I say to that, you know, it's kind of one of those things where you say to yourself, where's Emmett Brown when you need him? Because, and I don't understand, there's a few things that don't make sense about this whole idea. You have Lucy here and another Lucy. You have the future Lucy and you have the Lucy that's here. That's called a time paradox. And I mean, I guess this is time travel's way to solve that problem, lickety split. But overall, I'm giving this a 4 out of 5. Next one is called Unity, so I'm guessing they're going to unite against Rogue. No. But it's kind of weird because the only person that talked to Rogue besides them right now was the princess. And I only have to wonder one thing. Did Rogue tell the princess, oh, by the way, I'm here to kill Lucy Harfilia? But I don't think he did that. I think he just said he's going in and you know, he's not going to tell anyone about it. But he didn't know. The whole point of this chapter also, I found out, was a blunder for Rogue. He didn't know there were two Lucys. And he didn't know that the future Lucy didn't know that she closed the gates. And here comes the million-dollar question for everyone else here, chiming on this. Why would Lucy close the gates? Why? It's like, the only reason I can think of is two. One, there was somebody that was going to die that Lucy knew when they were pointing the cannon at them. Or two, some other reason. Maybe sacrificing somebody or, you know, one of those things. So it really is undecided of what was the reasoning, but at least to say, someone died! Yay! Do we really have to be excited about this? But overall, the reason why I gave this a 4 out of 5 was two reasons, like I said. The revelation Rogue gave about the dragons, of what happened 7 years later. I mean, come on. Less than 10% of population survived. That's not even 10. It's like, damn. Dragons taking over the world. So deliver, hero. And the other reason, obviously, I'm giving this a high rating of 4 is because future Lucy died. Hey, someone died. Someone died. Someone died. So you can gather that something's going to happen later on. Now, obviously, I wonder if someone's going to go down there and find them to help Natsu and the gang. It'll be so funny if Rogue's down there and he sees Rogue. I'll be like, but I don't know if that's going to happen. We'll have to wait and see. But that's all I got for you guys. This has been Bonkai 922. Next week we'll see if I review it again, the chapter. But so far we got a death. Hey, it's not Lucy herself, it's her future self. But hey, it's a death. End of the day, someone died in this freaking show. In this manga, in the fairy tale. So that's something to look forward to. I'm waiting for the dragons. Yeah, bona fide. Dragons, what occurs, how things are going to go from here. So we'll have to wait and see. It's been Bonkai 922. I'll see you guys later. And to steal something from Joten. The wrong bitch died, but the same bitch died. Yeah, that bitch is dead. That's all I got for you guys. See you.